haven't got any screen shares today. I should.
Okay.
I should be screen sharing all your
But yeah, I just wanted
videos
to
that you send
remind us.
of the Adam dancing, but I don't.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, not today.
yeah, no dice.
See how tonight's game goes.
Any
No
predictions for
pro line tonight.
before we get started? Any predictions for tonight's game? Just curious.
I don't know. I'd like to know how Vancouver's feeling coming into this. It's like, well, if that's
Yeah.
what they did with Edmonton, what are they going to do with us?
Yeah. Well, and that would be my concern too, is that Keefe really pushes the fact that, listen, these guys are going to be ready to play a real team. So let's make sure we provide them with a real team to play. You know, that would be my take if I'm the coach.
I do predict though that Matthews will score tonight.
Yeah. Just don't hit cruise control. You know, keep
I'm-
control of the pedal.
If someone had to put me on the spot now and say who's going to score, Matthews or Jason Spezza, I wouldn't know who to choose. And that's how
Right?
confident I am in Jason Spezza. I love Jason. Anyway,
How can you not?
on that note, let's get into the podcast, guys. Welcome
Yes.
to episode 6 of the Deke Snipe Silly podcast. Your hosts, Kylie Murrin, Ryan Gates, and Chad Newman. So guys, this is our, like I said, episode number 6. It's only a short one. We just finished a 3-game set with the Edmonton Oilers out west. Big road trip.
Sweep.
Big ol' sweep.
All over the media. This is not new news to anybody, but it was absolutely incredible to watch. I've never seen Leafs hockey like it in my tenure as a fan. So it's when people say I don't get too excited, I refuse. I'm going to get too excited because I don't get a chance to see it like this often. So I'm too
No,
excited.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Really
you guys
enjoy it.
seen the I don't know if you guys seen the post that I made on my personal Facebook today, but that was me telling everybody the same thing. Like, just let us enjoy it, please.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
once. Like in all of our years of, or at least my 30 years on this earth, I've never got to experience this with Leafs hockey. I mean, back in 93 when I was 3 was the last time they won a playoff round, or like it's just let me enjoy it.
Last real legit shot they felt like they had. Yeah, I mean,
Right? Like, just let me friggin' enjoy it. Stop saying, "Oh, wait till you get to the playoffs." I'm like,
Well,
oh,
my biggest annoyance, I mean, biggest annoyance currently is, oh, they're only this good because they're in the North. It's absolutely, I agree to a point. The North is not a particularly strong division, but it
No.
was Connor McDavid, right? We're not
with a
talking,
Hart Trophy,
you know,
with a
with
Hart Trophy winner
Hart
next to
Trophy
him.
winner, and it's not like, oh, well, they won 3 games or they won 3 games handily. They kept the boys off of the score sheet. Well, it was 1 assist.
exactly.
The-
Not. It's bad enough that they beat them 3 games because nobody would have suspected this. Nobody. But then to keep them off the score sheet, literally, well, both Connor and Leon for 3 games. It's just
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that first
you should
game
have bet
where
money on that.
where McDavid went down -3 -3, I like looking back at the 3 goals and looking at how he was just a mess. And I love McDavid, and I'm not one of these guys to say, oh, McDavid's junk. That's just ridiculous. But
No,
like
he's
he was trying to shoulder a lot of the load and got caught out a few times, and he got beat by players who outplayed him at certain, like, I mean, Zach Hyman shouldn't be deking around Connor McDavid. That happened in last night's game. I mean, it just shouldn't happen, but it happened.
it's overwhelming for him, right? It's like they
Yeah.
just had an answer for everything. They had all areas covered. Edmonton didn't play that bad, and Smith he played okay, but I mean, it was just there was no contest. By the 3rd game, they just had it all figured out. Every single
Yeah.
person that I said,
And-
nothing.
All right, so you brought
That's-
up Smith, Chad. What about our goalies? What are you thinking?
I mean, 1 goal in 3 games, and the
Which
only one that scored on number 1 starter.
Choose your goalie.
Yeah,
But
'cause
that's,
we
you
have
know.
3 right now.
Okay,
Can you
let's do
imagine?
it like this then. Chad, you take Freddie. What do you think?
I think he played solid. I think he played real big. He still had to make decent saves against some real threatening players. And I hope, I probably said it just in a couple of podcasts ago, but after he was out and he had shutout number 1 for Hutch or Campbell, then shutout number 2 for Hutch. I hope Dubas is like calling against St. Freddie. Let's get this signed. This is the time.
Yeah.
We do have options, but we'd rather have you as number 1. So how about give us another 2 or 3 years, 4 years
I feel
maybe.
like
Give me.
I feel like after that, because I had that same thought actually. I was like, oh shit, like this might actually mean that I know it was only a couple of games, but knowing that Hutch and Campbell can do that, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, listen,
it just makes me feel like he's gone. Like if they can
It's
keep
either
doing what
that,
they're doing,
they could use it as leverage, or they can come to him and say, "Hey,
100%.
do you want to be the number one guy and be a part of this? Do you see what we're doing?
yeah.
What's more
Yeah,
important to you? A few extra bucks in the bank, or do you want to make a legacy? What do you want?"
exactly. Because
Well, the thing
we
is,
don't technically need you right now.
small
Like,
sample size or not, anytime that two backups behind you post consecutive shutouts against the second, third place team in your division that has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on it, it doesn't help your case any to go into negotiations. So he's got some good pressure behind him, and it's good competitive pressure, and I think that's partially why he played so well as he did last night. I think that he's like, okay, let's do this, you know.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: here he is in net last night versus Edmonton. That's likely probably your best destination right now. What side do you want to be on? What side of the ice do you want to be on here? What, are you going to make an extra million or two with the Oilers, and that's the team you got, or do you want that team in front of you?
Yeah.
What one do you want?
100%.
So he had a good look at that, and this is probably his best option. If you want to play with McDavid, or do you want to play with a full team?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's there for
And
you, man.
I don't believe he doesn't want to be a Leaf. He's had an incredibly successul career thus far as a Maple
Mhm.
Leaf, but I just think it's a matter of putting pen to paper and getting a number that works both sides, that Dubas and Shanahan can come to a terms with, like $6 million, for example, would be kind of where I'd be sitting with it, and hoping that Fred was sitting the same way. But yeah, I'm gonna throw over to Miss Kylie. What do you think about Mr. Campbell, aside from his dreamy eyes?
No, I
About
didn't
the
say that. You
personality,
must
Ryan?
have said that.
So shallow. He's the nicest
Not my
dude ever.
type. Not my type.
Yeah.
Too nice.
Honestly, coming back from injury, and I felt like I think he was kind of rushed into it. Honestly, I don't know if I don't know how it works. I mean, in those situations, I assume it's not just like the player is like, I'm ready, and then they're like, okay, strap him on. But like, I'm sure there's like, protocols and whatnot and tests that they go through to be cleared. But I don't think he was 100%. But that doesn't mean he didn't play 100%, because
Mhm.
he was awesome.
He was.
I mean, they didn't have a lot of high quality chances, I would say, but there was a couple times. I think, was it Campbell's game? Because I mean, all the games kind of blend together. Was it Campbell's game that they came out? I know last game they did, but was it Campbell's they came out like in a fire drill that first period again, or the first few minutes again?
Well,
I-
they tried.
I think it was.
They tried
Was it
last
all
Hutch?
three games, really.
All three
But-
games, probably.
But
Honestly, yeah.
Campbell faced it pretty rough early on. He did.
I
he
feel
did.
There was
like,
a
yeah,
couple
I
times
wanna
in each
say he
game that
did.
they pressured.
Hutch
Yeah.
had Hutch
Oh,
had Hutch had the
100%.
bigger saves. Hutch made like some they had some
He did. There was
quality scoring chances.
one point he kind of stretched his leg out, and I was like, oh shit, like that might be bad. But anyway, he got up because it kind of looks similar to what Campbell had done to himself like a month ago. But anyway,
Yeah.
Hutch got up and he's done. I know we're not talking about Hutch right now, we're talking about Campbell, but
Mhm.
I mean,
You're stealing
both
my
of those
thunder here.
guys.
It's all goals.
Sorry. Okay, let me ask Ryan, how do you feel about Hutch?
Michael Hutchison might be the greatest Maple Leafs goalie of all time.
Third string goalie.
Hey, well, okay, I'll go with that. I mean, I was just, I mean, I've been pro Hutch all year. I mean, and anybody with a set of eyes and a sensible head on their shoulders can say the guy is playing better than a third string goalie should. He's at least NHL backup capable. That's not even a question in my mind with what he did in Colorado in the playoffs, what he's shown us so far this year. But what he was able to do, in my mind, of the three games, the most impressive goalie performance was Michael Hutchison. Just because of the quality of early scoring chances. I mean, they all had scoring chances, but
Yeah.
Hutch really shut the door early, set the tempo, and then the boys came out and did their thing, and the rest is
kept it.
history.
Yeah.
The defense was stellar in front of Hutch, but that still didn't limit a couple of good dashes by when McDavid breaks an over the line and gets behind your defenseman, and it's the only thing between the net and McDavid is Michael Hutchison. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit nervous. Anybody should be.
Especially after last year. That
But he
was the whole Riley play that was
Yeah.
shown a
Yeah,
million
I mean,
times.
You know what he's capable of.
Hutch was in net that game.
Of course. And so, you're not exactly comfortable with that, but then he shuts the door twice early in the first period, in the 1st 10 minutes on McDavid. The boys turn around, go back the other way, they score. No, I couldn't be happier with Michael Hutchison. I always knew he was capable goalie. He played here on the Rock with the Ice Caps for a little while.
Yeah, we got to
We've
see
seen
him
him in
We
action.
did,
up
yeah.
close and personal. Yeah.
he's a capable goaltender. He played well in Winnipeg. He posted a great save percentage in Winnipeg. It's just he had a bad run in. I seen a really interesting graphic today showing, where Michael Hutchison's workload versus scoring chances and all that kind of stuff came in, and his chart was just ridiculous. He wasn't put in a position to succeed.
No, me and my boyfriend had that conversation. It must have been during the Hutch game. And I said, the only issue with Michael Hutchinson and the Toronto Maple Leafs, we'll say last year, was confidence. There was absolutely no confidence in Hutch, and Hutch had absolutely no confidence in the defense standing in front of him or the team in front of him. And it was almost like when Hutch went in net, they were just like, yeah, we're doomed, guys. Like, let's just pack it up, get through tonight, and you know what I mean? And
Okay. Yeah,
I feel like that's just my opinion anyway, but I feel like this year, I don't know if it was his little stunt in Colorado that the boys were just like, okay, maybe we didn't give him a fair shot. I don't know, because I mean, I ain't there, but at least from the eye test, at least that's how I feel it is. And he has that confidence. And
I never looked at what he changed or if he changed anything, because I know, like, to me,
he looks the same.
He lost after leaving St. John's, like the Ice Caps, and going to Winnipeg. I kept following the team. I still follow the team because of that. He was supposed to be the number one. Hellbuck's supposed to be two, and Steve Mason was in there somewhere. Somewhere on the line there, Hutch completely fell off a cliff, and I don't know what happened. He had a hard time coming back, and it reminds me of what happened to Dubnyk. And I remember watching him play for Hamilton down here against the Ice Caps, and I was like, man, dude, it's terrible. Yeah, he said he was terrible. And my brother's a huge Oilers fan, so as well, like, I watch a lot of Oilers with him. And
didn't Dubnyk win a Vezina after that?
Yes, well, when he came back,
high in the voting. Yeah, when he came back with Minnesota.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be totally wrong here, but I think he had a goalie coach that came out of Arizona somewhere, and he changed some kind of head trajectory thing, where it's kind of like what Kerry Rice does. He's always in position, looks boring, but the puck just always hits him. Now, and next, he comes back he never even played a full season and won a Vezina.
Yeah,
and he came back. So I wonder if Hutch is doing.
Let's not forget, before we get too ahead of ourselves and talking about what a genius Kyle Dubas is, they didn't even bring Hutch into play. He was supposed to be the fourth string goalie who was going to be exposed for an expansion draft.
Exactly.
So the fact that they got a guy who's putting up a 950-ish save percentage is found money. That's just dumb luck. Now, you got to be good to be lucky. That's not a new catchphrase.
You got to make the saves, yeah.
So obviously, Dubas knew what he was getting. He was getting a capable goaltender, but I don't think when Dubas signed Michael Hutchinson, they had any intentions of playing him against Connor McDavid.
Brought him back really
ever again. So I think it's just something that just kind of fell in our lap, and I'm all about it. I just think I'm a sucker for a success story, certainly a bounce back, especially when all the fans were hating on him. Like like if Marty Marinson comes back, I'd like for him to score a hattie in his first game. But that don't mean I want Martin Marinson to come back.
No.
All right.
But
my point is, I'm a sucker for a success story, guys who overcome the adversity and get it done. Go ahead.
No, I said, who doesn't like an underdog?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, really though. Yeah. I just want to throw out there really quick, guys, because I have it in front of me, but I got his career stats, and just looking at his save percentage alone, I'm not looking at anything else. He's been in, well, I mean, the stats here go back as far as 2006 when he played for the Orangeville Crushers, whatever that is. Okay. But I want to say, so that goes right back to 2006. Yeah. There was only I'm still counting. I'm going in list 3 times that he was below a .90 save percentage. 3 years of his entire career.
One was with Leafs last year.
Yeah, well, actually, they have him here. One of them was 1920 with the Leafs. He had a .886, of course. Yeah. With the Marlies, he had a little bit of a better one. But then went with Colorado, he was a .944.
Yeah, that's where he's sitting currently. Just lights out.
He only got in a couple games, but like
keep in mind the league average, an average goaltender in the NHL, which is great to have. If you have an average goaltender, you have a chance at making the playoffs.
The game,
is a .91. This year is a .907 is what the league average sits at currently. Mm-hmm. So the general rule is .91, 910. And so our 3 goalies are above 910 currently, I do believe, and all the two backups are 950-ish. Like it's just stupid numbers, right? Unsustainable numbers.
No,
but
unless you're Vasilevsky.
Okay, let's not go loving on Vasilevsky too much. We got to beat him later.
Yeah.
That's
we're a
enough
Leafs
goalie love,
podcast.
actually. Let's mix it up. Let's talk about our bottom six, because that game was all that actually a game. I call it a game because it feels to me like the 3 games were just one game. You know, the team was
Yeah, I
so
know. That's
consistent.
what
They scored the same kind of
It's like
goals.
a mini playoff series to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was such a great thing to watch as a fan.
Yeah.
There was consistency. I've never seen consistency like it before. Let's talk about the bottom 6. First and foremost, the best line for most of the time they're on the ice, the 4th line. What are you guys thinking?
Well, let's not even call it the 4th line. It's like the Spezza line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth
Right?
line
Let's
makes me
get rid of
sound-
exactly. Let's just say what it is. It's Spezza's line. He owns his own line in the
He
league now,
runs that line. He controls it.
and nobody else got one.
He's all ours.
You want a cool stat? I love
Okay.
stats.
This is-
I
yeah.
do love good
Jason
stats.
Spezza has played 81 games as a Toronto Maple Leaf. You want to hazard a guess as to how many points he's scored in 81 games?
Okay. 81 games.
Mhm.
I'm going half a point at least. I'm saying
Half a
40
point?
at least.
40?
At least.
yeah, I'll go with it. I'm going to go between 40 and 50. I'll go 45.
He's scored 40 points as a Toronto Maple Leaf, and he's only averaged in 81 games. He's averaged 10 and a half minutes per game and put up
Oh my
40
God.
points, averaging 10 and a
Oh
half
my-
minutes.
That frigger
How old is he?
Babcock only friggin' benched
37
him.
years
Or
old.
healthy scratched him. I can't. Like,
Well, Spetz is dialing the clock back. He didn't play this well when he was on a $6 million deal in Dallas.
no.
He's dialing the clock back. He's playing for his home team. He's playing with a great supporting cast of players. He played on the second line for a good while in Dallas and didn't have this kind of production.
That's
So,
right.
It all depends who's surrounding him. 100%.
like I've been saying,
Not
and
like
I will-
Sagan's any, Sagan's pretty good. Ben's pretty good.
yeah, I will die on the hill
True,
saying that
but-
Mike Hutchison, Jason Spezza is the most underutilized player
brain.
currently in the NHL. The pundits will say, but Ryan, if your team is winning and in first place, is he truly underutilized? To which I would say, yes, because I'd still like to see him score more goals. But they're correct.
Yes.
If we're winning and in first place and they can do it, and he's putting up points by only playing 10 minutes per game, then yes, he's being utilized properly. I do think that when crunch time comes, he will be lean on heavier. I think they're sparing him now because they got that luxury. Same thing they should be doing with Freddie. I mean, there's no need for Freddie when we're up at the top of the league by a country mile. He should be playing all the games. It's just silly. He's going to hurt himself.
There's no
So-
need of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. The extra skill that goes with the 4th line is when you're sitting on that bench and only playing, and you're sitting on that bench, I mean, you're almost cold going on every shift. And you're expected to, you're not expected to have production if you're going in cold. You're just going in there to play the role,
You're
get
going-
possession, get it in,
you're-
get a face off, and put the first line on. Okay, but Jason Spezza is taking it as if he's playing that every shift like it's a first line shift.
Mhm.
Not everybody can do that. I mean, I say not everybody. Hardly anybody can do that on a 4th line. And maybe that's his prime spot. Maybe that's his sweet spot because you look
He's
at
playing
defensemen.
against shittier players. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
100%.
But if you look at like defensemen and the stats, God, I'll go back to Fanuff days when he was
Please don't.
overworked.
Yeah.
They show the stats when he played over 24 minutes. And that's when everyone's like, oh, Fanuff is crap. He's crap at the end of the game. You can't rely on him. Man, the dude was overworked. You played him less than 24 minutes. They say when he played 22 minutes a night, man, that dude was a stud. And
Yeah.
it was just time and place. But maybe it's the same thing with Spezza. His age right now and his, he has that plan in his head as he's sitting on that bench the whole time. He hops on, he goes. He knows what he's doing.
He knows he's only out there for
He
30,
uses every
30,
second.
40 seconds.
Well, I mean, like Jason Spezza, well, everybody complained that, his knees and he's not quite the speedster, but he was never a speedster to begin with. That's my argument. Like, what are you guys talking about? He was never fast to begin with. He was
Well,
always a
Thornton's on the
playmaker.
first line, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's just such a washed up, sorry excuse for a topic is to talk about Jason Spezza's foot speed. Last time I checked, he was keeping up with Jimmy Vesey, who's half his age. You know what I mean?
I want to bet Jason Spence is probably faster than John Tavares.
Yeah, John Tavares
odds-
is no speedster.
He's not fast at all.
No.
He's more strong on the puck than he is like fast.
100%.
Like try to
He's
knock him
not-
off.
He's
Let's-
not.
but also with Spezza,
Mikheyev.
To go with Spezza and that thought that you just had there, the thing is with Spezza, when he has a puck though, he's going to control the speed. So it doesn't matter how fast you are. If he
Exactly.
has it and everyone's following him, I mean,
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
he knows how to use it.
I'm gonna throw you one more name, and then we'll get away from our bottom 6 topic. Top line ability, bottom six forward, Zach Hyman. How
Oh,
are you?
yeah.
How are you feeling about Zach Hyman on that third line?
I think you can. I don't think you can call him a top or bottom. He's just whatever you want.
He's the utility
Doesn't
guy,
matter.
the greaser. Yeah.
Every team is drooling over Zach Hyman right now. Just add that to the list of the things that Edmonton needs. You need that grinder.
My biggest issue, I'll say, with Zach Hyman is that he's a UFA at the end of the season. That's my biggest issue with Zach.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that he's an unrestricted free agent, meaning he can do whatever he wants and
That's
he's free to
devastating.
go. But I mean, he's a hometown boy. He's not, I really don't think he's the type of player who would actually take a discount to stay.
Well, he don't need the money.
If you're a middle six forward and you're a UFA, you're not looking to leave the Leafs. You're looking to come to the Leafs. That's the kind of team you want to play for. His friends are there now. He's living basically at home with his mom and dad.
Yeah.
I watched
He just had a
downtown.
baby. You don't want to uproot his family now, just having a new baby and everything. You know, like no.
I watched an episode of, because again, I'm being a podcaster. I also love watching podcasts. I watched a great episode of the Connor Carrick podcast, The Curious Competitor, just a couple of days ago. Shout out to Connor Carrick. We'll get you on the show someday. If
Check
not,
your
just mention our show on your show. I'll be happy with that. But no, The Curious Competitor is fantastic. Connor Carrick, aside from being a fantastic hockey player, he's a great host, amazing. And he had Hyman on for an episode, and it's like 10 months ago, so it was pre this season. But he goes into great detail about just how happy he was to become a Toronto Maple Leaf. Just by dumb luck, he had no say in where he was going, and they traded for him. Which, as much as we hate on Babcock, that was a Babcock hiring. He watched Hyman play in his last year of college on the wing with one Dylan Larkin, and because everyone was scouting Larkin that year, and Babcock said, "No, that's the guy you want. You want
It's
that
a coach's
guy."
dream.
Yeah. So
and not only is he the enforcer that he is, but while he's out there, man, he's just going 150% the entire
Rich
time.
Clune said in there that crazy physical test that they have with the Marlies, it's always between, like, they're always 1 and 2.
Yeah, not
they're workout freaks.
Yeah, and
it's funny because they touched on that on the Curious Competitor as well, because Carrick wanted to hear that he was there. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I watched his Instagram videos with Ian Mack, and that's just I can't even understand.
But apparently the following year, Hyman won it from Carrick, right? Kind of took the belt. So it was a big competition among the athletic guys, right? And Hyman's a beast. But he talked in depth about becoming a player that everybody would want. That if you're not going to be the greatest goal scorer, you got to be the greatest 200-foot player. You got to be the guy who's willing to do things other players are not willing to do. Go into corners, get in front of net, dirt it up. And he said, oddly enough, since he started doing the things that goal scorers don't do, he started scoring goals. So there's a formula there that seems to be working for Zach Hyman.
The opportunities will come.
And
if you're in the right places, doing the right things.
Anybody who's watched this podcast have heard me rip on the third line not so many episodes ago. And
I was going to bring that up because I watched it again today, and you were like, our third line is just stinky.
Putrid. It was bad.
Putrid. That was the other one you used.
Putrid is the word I like to use for that particular combination. But you throw Zach Hyman there with Engvall and McWho instead of Kerfoot. What a absolute
and then
insane
in turn, Kerfoot up with JT and Willie is just perfect. Like, who would have known that's all they had to do is switch those guys?
It's the smallest thing sometimes, man.
Literally,
look at it. I mean, Engvall was fantastic. I'm going to give the last 3 games Engvall. Like, that's the Engvall I became a fan of. And he's back to doing it. And I saw how they asked him about Keefe, and he said, when he criticizes you, that's what he wants you to do. So you best do it, like that. I take that as a good thing.
Well, Ray Ferraro's famous for saying it. If you want bread, you go to the store. If you want goals, you go to the net. And he's going to the net like a madman here the last 2 or 3 games. It's good to see. He hasn't been rewarded yet, but he will. I mean, he's in the right spot to score, and he's with guys who can get him the puck. So
I feel like you're literally explaining Jimmy Vesey right now, because everything you just said, and McWho, everything you just said about Hyman could almost even go for Vesey this last game or two. Or not Hyman, sorry, you were talking about Engvall.
McWho.
But anyway, yes, you know what I'm trying to say is he was just in the right. He was in. Yeah, what do you mean? He was in the right spot at the right time both times last night. And like I said to my boyfriend, I said anybody could have scored that goal. but not really though, because
No.
it was just like I feel like he paid his dues.
You got to be there. You got to know to be there.
He even though like I've been trying to watch him the last 2 games, you know, because I've been shitting on him a bit. I have 100%.
But
He
not
doesn't do
not wrongly.
no. Well,
Right.
he doesn't do anything great, but he doesn't do anything really bad either. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple little, you know, things here and there that you'd say, "Oh shit, why did you just do that?"
My
But
only
it's
knock
like
on
the
VC
split
as a player,
decisions.
the one thing that stands out to me that he doesn't do well. I mean, he does a lot of things, what I would say acceptable. He can obviously shoot the puck. He knows what he's doing with it. The one thing I think the major knock on Jimmy VC is when he gets the puck in a defensive posture. So if he's looking to break the puck out, move it to another forward, he seems to handle it like a hot potato.
Hot potato. Yep.
He has that again that moment of unclarity where he's like, I got to move this right now, and he makes a pass to somebody who's not really there. He'll make the pass a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a mental game.
Yeah.
I think that he's been getting inside of his own head a bit, so maybe he can clean that up. But that's really my only knock on him, like proper knock.
I agree.
Earlier the season was, please put the puck in the net. You're embarrassing me. But you know, he got off that schneid last night, so I'm going to give him another 10 games grace period. Show me what you got, kid. Do something.
Look, Keith
do
must
wanna
have some
bring
confidence
up-
in him, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
He
must.
Keith must. He
Yeah.
never sat him.
He
Everyone's
has
like,
never
it's
taken
about
him
time
out.
for him to scratch here. We went all the way down to the fourth line. Next thing is up in the box, and
Well,
Keith never done it.
This
No.
is the thing. Keith has this awkward advantage on us where he gets to see the players in practice.
Imagine.
Yeah.
He gets to
Yeah.
see Jimmy
Talk
VC
to
go up
us.
against Austin Matthews.
Why haven't they
How
let
does that look?
DSC in there yet? We should have like, you know,
I know, right?
I'll send an email.
passes, credentials.
I will
or
send
something.
an
Come
email.
on, do better.
All
Let's
right.
send a
Get on
GoPro
that.
let's send a GoPro to Kirsten Shilton and just like, you know.
Just get her to strap it on her
There you
head.
go.
We're on the Wi-Fi.
We're name dropping. This is the episode 6, the name drop episode, where we drop as many
Yeah,
names as possible.
apparently. We'll just
Well, I'll
tag
say Kirsten
everybody's
Shilton's my
name.
first stop. She's always at the rink, so
Yeah.
that's
I love
Oh,
Ann
she's
Schulten
my.
too.
I love her too. She's my first Twitter search every morning.
same here.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get her on someday. You never know.
Be
We
pretty
will reach
cool.
out at some point or
Yeah,
another.
never know.
Never know.
I don't know. Is that enough talking about the game, guys? I mean, we covered off a few what I would consider key points of the series.
Yes.
We, as a podcast, we've been kicking around the idea of rolling out a couple of segments to include in our podcast, something a little more routine that we kind of include, no matter what we're talking about, unless we've got a guest on.
Little
Of course,
features.
that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little feature. So our lovely lady here, she's we jokingly chat often, the three of us, about hockey, not on camera. And Kylie has this massive ability to go off topic. It's uncanny. I've never actually met anybody like it. So we've decided to create a little segment called Off Topic with Kylie. So I'm just going to throw it over to her and see what she's got. What's on your mind? Maybe not on.
So,
Yeah, like
I can start with like the good Netflix shows I've watched lately, you know.
Mm.
But not watch The Sinner though. It's really good.
What?
But
The Sinner?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Sinner.
It's really good. It's kind of like a crazy show, but it gets you addicted where it's like, oh my God, I gotta watch the next
Yeah.
one.
Here she
It's
goes.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
She's
anyway,
very bingy.
the off topic, but but no,
How
I
far
did
do you
want
wanna
to
go?
bring up. I did want to bring up because it is off our topic because our topic is always Leafs usually, but
Awesome.
Carey Price and everything that's been happening with him in the media the last couple days. I mean, I'm not obviously I'm not a Habs supporter. Quite the opposite, if anything. But so I don't know if this is something that has been, I don't know, asked of him often or something that's been going around within his tenure at like in Montreal. But apparently fans have been getting the impression that he just doesn't care anymore or that he's not bothered by anything. And therefore that lack of caring shows
It's
on-
translated into
is
poor play.
translated
Wait, are we talking about
exactly.
Price or
So-
William Nylander?
Price.
Fair
But
price, some
and
assembly
what-
required.
Yes, but what really kind of grinded my gears, I'll say, is when he did get asked about it the other day, he was quite rude and was just kind of like, "No, I don't care," or "It doesn't matter to me," or whatever exactly he said.
Yeah, I remember
And-
saying
Matter
that.
anymore. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. That's what he said. And no, it doesn't. But if your fans are actually concerned about your playing ability or your lack of caring, can't you just like, I don't know, give him something?
Yeah.
To me, that was just like a slap in the face to his fans.
You don't,
And
as a professional athlete,
No.
you don't always have to answer to the reporters and the media. 'Cause
no,
some of the things that they
definitely.
ask are not
And it could
worthy
be
of an answer.
repetitive. And I don't
Yeah.
watch enough, post-game pressers for the Habs to know if this is something that he gets asked all the time. And if it is, someone please tell me so I at least can make some sense of as to why he answered that way. But to me, it just kind of came off was like, no, I don't care what people are saying about me.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
Wait,
mean,
I
let's-
just feel like, yeah,
Price
we
is
had a $10
noted for
million
being
goalie.
Yeah, no, but he's noted for being the consummate gentleman. I mean, people
Hmm.
respect him around the league as being that guy who's friendly. He's caring, Carey. He's a good dude. He does good things for the community. I thought
Yes.
that the comment was a little bit off color
Out of
for
character.
Carey Price. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Right.
just
It rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know
I
why.
don't know. Not
like
me.
no.
No, I love Carey Price, and I mean, I love him on Team Canada more than anything, but I love him as a goalie. He's a good
Yeah.
player. He's a good dude. I see the way he's playing, and just like I mentioned, William Nylander, just because he doesn't scramble and he doesn't go crazy, doesn't mean he's not playing to the best of his abilities or
No.
trying to. And
Right.
if you're going to be in a market like Montreal or Toronto, and you're going to really care
You
about what the
gotta,
fans think all the time,
yeah.
I mean, you get sick of hearing it. I'm sure you do. And like, I see all the political cartoons for it, like
Yeah.
overpriced and all
It's a
this
bit
stuff. Like,
much.
it's
A lot of it is a
distasteful. It's
bit much.
gross. And I'm glad he doesn't care. I'm glad he let people know he doesn't care,
Yeah.
because if that's what your career was about, caring just about what people said for your current play, man, you're in the wrong business. Go
True
do something
that.
else. Out
True
of the
that.
spotlight.
Oh, well
No, I
said.
like it.
That's
God love
that's
you.
why I said,
Well said.
like, if this is something that's been brought up often, 100%, I'd probably tell the reporter where to go and how to
Mhm.
get there. But that's why I don't know. And it's been in the media the last couple of days. So that's why I was like, I feel like I'm not the only person who kind of
Nope.
got like, huh, about that.
And
But
they're
anyway,
bringing
that was my
no,
off
too.
topic for today.
They're bringing up bullshit, saying he's been inconsistent his whole career. Like, yeah, of course, they live up to his
No,
house.
I mean, that's
What do you want?
bull.
How many
We all
awards the
know
guy's
that.
got? No, they never won a cup, but I mean, the
It's
guy's
just
quite
I mean,
capable.
it's just
how many
ridiculous. There's a reason why
how
they
many
paid him
medals
10
does he
million.
have?
I didn't
Yeah,
I
Like,
didn't see fans tripping over themselves cursing the contract when he
you ask
re-signed with their team for 10 years.
exactly. I
So
just
you ask
know
100
that if
people that knows it. Ask 100 people what they know about hockey. Anybody that knows anything about hockey, who's Team Canada's #1 goalie for the upcoming Olympics? Is anybody going to say anyone
100%.
other than Carey Price?
There's
Then why would
nobody
you?
else that I would want to represent the country.
No.
Like,
I
that
can
doesn't
tell
mean
you
I
one
don't
guy who'd be a
trust
close
them.
second for me, who a lot of people would say, Ron, you're out of your mind, is Marc-Andre Fleury. He
Yeah.
he's been doing things in Vegas that a guy who was kind of let go should never be
Yeah.
doing.
Just
I
when
mean,
you think
That's
he's
true.
done. No,
yeah,
he's going to
like
come back. And,
who
yeah,
is this guy and why is
yeah.
he so amazing? And
I
another
like him, man.
character
He's
guy,
he's
right?
a good dude. Yeah.
He's just that,
100%.
smiley guy, flower. I gush over Marc-Andre Fleury, and
I want to see him on Edmonton this year, and it never happened.
yeah.
A lot of love for the goalies today, guys. What's up?
Yeah,
Oh,
with
well,
man,
I'm
I
just
love
I'm
goalies.
just glad Chad took off his Habs jersey long enough to get on this podcast.
that?
Carey Price
Yeah,
alone.
what's up with that, Chad? We might
Okay,
have
let's roll into
$10
this
million.
is a-
I'll take my $5 million Freddie any day.
yeah,
Yeah, me too.
2 Freddies for the price of 1 price.
Mm-hmm.
We got 3 Freddies now. Like we got
That
goalies
price.
to burn.
Yeah.
Um,
Which one do you want? 'Cause we got 3.
no, that's the topic for another episode.
I'm keeping all 3. Stay away from my goalies.
Yeah.
He's mine, and you can't have him.
Hands off. Well, one thing about it, if they expose Hutch now to the expansion draft, he's much more likely to get claimed than last year.
Yeah, that's
Holy
true
cow.
though.
Wow, what a anyway, I can't go
I
gushing
wonder
over Hutch.
was that their plan? I wonder. Like, let's just keep this guy in our back pocket until the expansion draft,
Well,
and then
pretty
we'll
much.
just
I mean,
we'll just show him, and everybody be like, "No, he played like shit." With you know what I mean, and then we'll get to keep him. Bet you that was their
Yeah.
plan. They just didn't anticipate both our goalies getting hurt, and that what's his name got claimed off waivers. Aaron
yeah.
Dell.
If he stays, best gone. If he goes, best gone.
Yeah, it's not a bad problem to have 3 great goalies. We had 2 guys
No.
injured, and Hutch carried the load and played amazing. Anyway, that's
Yep.
we've gone full circle.
That's it.
Segment number 2 that we're looking to introduce into the Deek Snipe Side podcast, something we've talked about. I don't know what the topics are going to be, but we want to introduce a segment called Hot Takes and Fast Breaks. So in this segment,
Like it.
the guests will get to either choose a hot take that they're they're just gushing over something that that they've seen in one of the recent games has just stood out to them, or fast break, and it's more of a basketball term, I guess, really more than anything. But being something in the games that stood out to you, it doesn't necessarily need to be a scoring play either, but something game related, a play in the game that kind of maybe would turn the tide, TSN turning points type stuff. So I'm gonna throw it to, I think, Kylie this time first.
Can I ask a question about the game first? Our new game that we're playing. Is this a
Well,
game?
if the puck goes in over the blue line and you're already inside the blue line when it goes in, that's offside.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you shoot the puck from the other side,
Stop it.
Oh,
Okay, I have a guy who's never played a game of hockey trying to explain the game of hockey. Like, come on. I'm just kidding. No, but if you do, you're okay. I'm sorry. You had like 3 games. If you do have like a good hot take, can we agree or disagree with your take? Like, is that a thing, or are we just going to keep
this is going to be a discussion point? So you throw out your topic, whether it be a hot take or a fast break, and we shall discuss. But you got to open it up with your hot take, fast break.
I mean, I can't wait to disagree with you guys.
I know you live to do that. Okay, but I don't think you can disagree with this hot take. All right, I don't think you'll disagree with this one. Are you ready?
Hot take. All right, let's see it.
McCabe is faster than McDavid.
He kind of was last night. That Fast and the Furious quarter mile.
And he won the puck battle, which is all that matters.
That's the hottest of takes.
It was getting there, but he had that elbow. Maybe his arm was a little bit longer, and he just
maybe.
Oh,
Nah. They even looked at each other like, we're doing it, and the two of them just kept going, and Mickey won.
I watched it a lot today, and I'm going to watch it tomorrow, and I'm going to watch it the next day. And like, how is it set up so good? And they just look at each other, and it's
really funny. The media gushes over McDavid in the sense that they're like, "Oh, he's the fastest player in the league with the puck." I'm like,
"Yeah, okay,
that's good."
That's what he does with it. Yeah.
Says who? Like, what do we have to compare that against? Because anytime I've seen Mikheyev on a breakaway, it's not a breakaway; it's a pull away. He starts out somewhere between center and the blue line, and he just pulls away. So
explosion.
It's not now. Like I said, McDavid's stick handling at high speed is mind boggling. I get a twitch watching it. I'm like, yeah, it's not even really human. Don't look fair. But I'd be really interested, and we'll never know because they won't send Mikheyev to the All-Star game. But I would be really interested to see where that one would sit, because I was always a big, I'm like Kylie, big Cappy fan when it come to foot speed. That's where it ended for me with Captain. I didn't really like him otherwise, but he was fast, super fast.
Forehand, backhand.
To be honest,
yeah, I mean,
I like Cappy. I like Cappy, especially when he got chippy in the playoffs. I was like,
that was my favorite part about Cappy.
Yeah, he got a bit of a mean side there near the end. Yeah. I was feeling it.
I liked him, but I was like, oh man, this is great. And I was like, I know he's gone, but I'm enjoying
this. Same kind of player that I was, like, just fast. I wasn't the greatest with the puck. I'd knock you on your ass in a heartbeat. And just this mouth going all the time.
It's great.
All right.
I can't imagine you with your mouth going all the time.
Yeah. Are you sure the same person?
Are you sure it's you?
Not me.
No, that's a great hot take. I love it.
What about you, Ryan?
Oh, me?
Oh, you're going Chad. No, I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ryan can have.
Me and Chad are going to team up on you now, I bet.
Hot take. The Leafs block more shots with their skates than any other team in the league. Hands down. It's not even close.
Is there a way we can look up this stat? Because I feel like you're
absolutely
probably
not.
Right. It's just blocks.
Unless you have the video footage and pick them all out yourself.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
No, but seriously, guys, it's kind of like, when you go through a stretch where a certain player hits the post 8 times, it's kind of like that, except it's Zach Hyman's foot. I'm like,
yeah.
Get out of the way.
God, he wears shot blockers is all I can say.
But he didn't before, but now he's like, okay, I guess I'm a magnet for it.
Probably
but again,
I don't know if anyone. I've seen a couple of guys. It looks like they have the stick-on side, so where it's kind of black and all the logos out. I noticed they were out.
Yeah, it goes up I think it goes underneath their blade, and then it comes up around. Because I noticed the other game, actually, I was trying to point it out to Adam, and they zoomed right in on Hyman as I was telling them. I was like, oh, perfect. And you could see the little strap was hanging down. I was like, oh, shit, he's going to fall, right? But anyway.
Some of them are actually stuck on. They stick on to all the... They stick on.
His looked like there was a little Velcro strap or something. I could be wrong. Maybe it was part of his skate or something. But
my nervous
like a little
point,
Velcro.
My nervous point with all this is Mitch Marner, because it's one thing for the Zach Hymans of the world to go out there and the Jimmy Vesey's to go out there and kill penalties and get their
Jump in
foot
front of
blown off.
pucks.
But
Yeah.
when your guy's out there who makes $10 million and he's out and he's an efficient penalty killer, one of the very best on the team. I'd venture to say he's probably our best penalty killer next to Zach Hyman. I mean, two of them are just elite penalty killers.
McWho's all right.
We're blessed in that department. We got some good penalty killers. But when one of them is making $10 million and he's arguably a Hart candidate for your team, he best be forced to put those on every time he goes killing penalties. I don't give a shit who. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just scares the living. But like, I mean, I think about back when he blocked those shots in the playoffs there. I don't even know if that was last year or the year.
He gets in the net. When
Are you talking about the one that
he
jumped face first?
He's all hurt.
He jumped face first and
he did.
Boston shot.
I remember.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and he blocked it like 3 times right up on the blue
Next thing you know, he's like down on the ice like this. I was like, oh no.
And even I remember the post game, I think it was Matthews that was being interviewed, and he was just like, I got to give it to Mitchie for that, because that was just crazy.
Yeah.
That's that extra push you need to win, and they all got to have that.
Finish us off,
I
Chad.
like that hot take. I like that
hot takes for fast breaks.
Hot takes for fast breaks. I'm just going to say the combo between Muzzin, Engvall, and Hall shutting down McDavid. I'm just going to take that again because I was so impressed with how efficient they were doing that.
Yeah,
it looked easy.
So and that would be a fast break.
Edmonton looked demoralized. Like we have nothing. And one thing I noticed after the games, they're all like, "Well, Toronto is good." It's never like we did something really bad, and that's what there usually is. But I found in the interviews it's starting to creep up and say, "Well, they're a very, very good team." And I think this is what all the teams want to be. This is where they all want to go, especially Edmonton. I bet you McDavid wrote a friggin' list today and handed it and say, give that to whoever you need it to.
Yeah.
Let's build that.
Get me there.
That's what we need.
Get me.
We got 30.
Or get me there. Trade me
they have like 30 million cap space next year.
Don't make sense. Or so just the organization has no money.
It might be just a year behind. I say write this year off. But
you brought up
down last night.
You brought up the 2D men are shut down, guys. We gave a lot of love to Justin Hall. I think it might have been episode 2, maybe.
I think,
Go back and watch that one, guys, because we talked in depth about Justin Hall.
Joe Bowen did too.
Joe Bowen did as well. The Joe Bowen episode. Yeah. If you haven't watched the Joe Bowen episode, you're an idiot. Oh my
go
God.
Watch it.
Yeah, just don't even finish this one. Just close this now. Just do something.
Just get out of here.
Yeah, go watch it. Like it's by far. You'll be able to say, well, there's Ryan's high point in his life, right?
Literally.
But the stories that came out of Joe were just amazing. We're so grateful he came on. So anyway, fingers crossed we get him back. But watch the episode.
Yes.
But we gave a lot of love to Justin, and we were at the time only I think 7 games in ish.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys about Justin. So that was 7 games in. We're what, 23, 24, 25 tonight, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Do you think he's gotten better or worse? Or has it stayed the same?
He's sustained it, I think.
Probably the same. Yeah, I don't want to say he gotten like worse, but God, no means he's gotten better, if anything.
When Muzzin left, it looked a little bit like something was gone.
Shaky. Yep.
And that's it. I mean, he couldn't hold it up by himself, which is okay. You're a partner. But when he came back, it's like they never missed a beat. So
but
I think they're sustaining it really well.
Oh, you mean Jake Muzzin, who's playing with a broken face? I like that guy.
Yeah, right. But I want to say when Dermott got put up there to play with Hall, that was actually like I feel like he stepped up and he did a really good job. I do want to say that because I don't think we've ever said his name
I wish I could zoom in. I got this little nail right here. And like I almost called in sick for work today. It's killing me. It's like it's brutal, guys. I'm serious. And Jake Muzzin is playing with a broken.
Got a hug there, Kylie.
Right?
Virtual hugs. Oh.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Chad, do me a favor.
Take back my hat there. What's that?
Go get a card. Would you drop that off to Ryan, poor boy? Get a few flowers and a tea.
But you get my point, right? Jake Muzzin is playing professional ice hockey with a broken face.
A throbbing face under that mask, because it sucks.
Man, I just the guy, and since we're on the topic and we're talking hot takes, fast breaks, if we're going to talk standout defensemen and underrated players on the Leafs, can we please talk about TJ Brody?
Oh goodness!
I meant that was supposed to be my hot take, was TJ Brody, and I never wrote it down, so I could have just winged it off the top of my head because I did like the shutdown. I was like,
Next
yes, to
time.
TJ Brody,
Next time.
the extra effort every time.
Man,
I got to bring up the belly dives again, guys.
Yeah,
He's
man.
always
Mhm.
on his belly, and
I
I
know that's your
love
thing.
it. Yeah, and like just he knows like the perfect times to just poke that stick out, and when
He
to dive,
doesn't
and when
give up
not
on
to
the play.
dive, when to get down on his
Mhm.
knee, when I don't
Mhm.
know. He's just
He makes it
is.
look
I
easy.
tweeted last night, and I woke up to like a bunch of retweets, and all I said was, "TJ Brody is the defenseman we always needed,
Yep.
and we have him."
I always thought it was
Mm.
Hainsey with Riley, but no,
No,
I was wrong. I mean,
no.
guys,
Hainsey was a
I
great
still
sample.
miss Hainsey.
Hainsey was a
But
great sample, but
yeah, but he's
Hainsey would have been
still
great playing in a spot there with Dermott currently. Now, don't actually
yeah.
I take back everything I just said because my favorite defenseman on the team is not even TJ Brody. I have mad man love for Zach Bogosian. I,
But
Another one, yes.
I'm like, I'm not kidding, guys. Like, I mean, the guy has come as well above advertised. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like he's doing things. I mean, they're not leading the league in time on ice, but when he's out there, like
He's
he's
making an
just shutting
impact.
it down.
huge
Like,
difference
Yeah.
maker, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those games there, he had, I think it was I think it was one of the Edmonton games. It was McDavid maybe, and he was able to keep McDavid in front of him. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's
Mhm.
not easily done for anybody in the league. And I was certainly looking. I was like, this is not going to end well for Bogosian, not at all. But he kept his angles perfect. He kept his
Yeah.
gap control excellent. He's been breaking out the puck as good as anybody on the team. I'm not even kidding. Like he's after springing forwards for fast
Yeah.
breaks in the
Yeah,
last
sure.
couple.
It was all him. The
Just keeping it real
Spezza,
simple.
Yep,
the
Spezza goal.
Spezza goal, or not
Mm.
Spezza goal, the Spezza set up there with the
VC.
VC goal.
Yep.
That was all Zach Bogosian.
I'm telling you, man, $1 million bucks
Yeah.
all
He could
day.
stay. How long do we have him? Just this year?
I hope he
Not
pairs up
sure.
with Dermott till Dermott gets gray hair. Like, I mean, did you see the clip of the guys practicing fighting in practice? Did you see
Yes,
that?
Yeah.
that literally made my heart melt. I was like,
was like,
oh,
Oh, Bogo,
you're so
guy,
sweet. You
Yeah,
teach him how to scrap.
yeah. No, if Bogosian signs any
That's
kind of
good.
extension with this team, Ryan's rocking the jersey next year. I almost had it.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, shout out to Tony West who owned the David Clarkson jersey. I'm gonna get the Bogosian jersey.
Except you won't regret it.
Yeah.
You
I don't want to remind you guys, but pregame is starting.
But
I
I was going
wanna-
to say, like,
I gotta remind you guys.
We have a Leafs game
This
tonight.
half hour.
I would sit.
ticket-
I can sit here and
No.
gush about Toronto defense forever because I've never really gotten to do that in my life. So I'll do that as much
literally-
as I can.
I said today, talking to a friend of mine who's a Leaf fan, I said, this is the first time in like ever, probably, that there's never a point where I'm like, who's on ice? Who's on ice? And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, oh God. You know what I mean? Where it's
Mhm.
like, I have faith in every single one of those defensemen. All of them, not just our
Yeah.
defensemen.
Yeah.
But I finally have some faith.
All right. I got
Boy
something.
Dubas.
We're gonna close
What's
out.
up?
We'll close out the hockey talk with prediction. Give me your first goal scorer for the Leafs tonight.
Austin. Maddie.
Austin?
Just because he's due.
Let me think.
Sorry.
I'm sick of picking McCabe, and you know what? I'm going to be easy on him because I'm always like, he's got to score. He's got to score. You know what? I don't care if he ever does. He's getting these huge breaks, shorthanded. I don't care. Just keep doing that because you're doing something fantastic, and just keep
The
that
momentum.
trend. I don't care.
Consistency is where it's at.
Yeah,
going-
I'm all right with that. So if I'm gonna pick anybody, you know what? I'm gonna go with JT. You know, he got that nice goal from Thornton.
Good one.
So let's
Yep.
let's get JT rolling.
Or Willie Styles.
I was thinking
Willie
Willie,
Styles.
but I'm throwing
Love
it out to the Ryan Gates choice. When I get into the Writers Guild and I get to vote someday, I'm going to be voting, even if he's retired, for Jason Spezza.
All right.
Okay,
So that's
I
my
can do
guy.
that.
I got no reason to believe he can't score tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm going to choose him because I think he deserves the shout out. One last thing, we've got a guest coming up. We're going to be filming a podcast in the near future with a guest, and he is a
Very big
former
guest.
Calgary Flame, and we can't wait to have this guy on the show. He's one of the all-time greats in the league. I don't
I'm
want to get
so
into it too
pumped.
much because we're gonna blow it out of the water with all of his accolades when we get him on the show. But we've got a great guest lined up in the one and the only Mr. Theo Fleury. We were excited about Joe Bowen. I'll never forget it. But I'm equally as excited about this guy. I was a fan as a kid. I'm a fan of him as an adult. The things he's been doing in the public, and
what he's been through.
we've got some great topics lined up to talk to him about, guys.
I mean, he's a big one,
Mhm.
man.
Big
Yeah,
fish,
so
and we're so
make
stoked to have him.
Things
make
I
sure to
didn't see coming when I decided to say,
subscribe.
sure, I'll hop on a podcast.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Theo Fleury a handful of
No
episodes.
big deal.
Yeah, it's okay. I've done
So
this
that's our
millions of times
big
before.
announcement, and again, make sure you tune in, guys. We'll be throwing up some promo for that coming up once we get a little bit closer. I'll get you a date as well when we get a little bit closer. But keep an eye out for that one. It's coming, and it's going to be a doozy. So
Gonna
stay
be
tuned for that.
good.
Yes.
So everybody out there, if you like what you've seen, you enjoyed the show, you enjoyed Kylie's off topic, let us know. If you enjoyed hot takes, fast breaks, let us know. If you're excited about the Theo Fleury episode, if you're not, you're an idiot. Again, if you
Yeah,
haven't watched the Joe
idiot.
Bone when you're an idiot. If you haven't tuned in to catch the Dean McDonald episode, whoa, you are an idiot. There's so much good content in those interviews that I'm
It
just
is though.
beside
No,
myself.
Don't want to toot our own horns or anything.
No, I got no issue with tooting my own horn. It was awesome.
No.
The guests were phenomenal. We did
Toot
very
toot.
little other than just go, wow, you are phenomenal.
Yeah,
So
we just
no, tune in, catch those episodes, guys. If you like what you've seen, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below on our YouTube channel. You can get us on Spotify, Apple Music there. You can get us on Google Podcasts, anywhere basically you listen to podcasts. And of course at deeksnipeselly.ca and deeksnipeselly on Facebook. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at SellyDeek. So if there's nothing else, guys, I guess we just go peace out.
Go Leafs go.
go Leafs go. Did you just say the
Adios.
same thing?